Hi, I'm Hazel, and today we are taking a look at the best UI, systems, and quality of life changes coming in Shadowlands. These are the little things coming to WoW that are going to hopefully make your life better and replace the functionality of a few popular add-ons. First up, there is a new 3D quest tracker which looks like this. This is very TomTom if you've ever used that. It's going to show you which direction your current quest objective or turn-in is, and will also work for map waypoints, which we'll look at shortly. It will have a little indicator on that icon if the objective is above or below you to tell you whether or not you need to look up, and it disappears when you get close, typically once you're within about minimap range. The quest that the tracker is showing is going to get a small yellow glow around the icon in the quest tracker over here on the right-hand side, and that identifies which objective that it's pointing you to. You can click those icons directly to change which one that you're tracking. If you're looking at this and you're not so excited, never fear, you can toggle this one off in the interface settings if you don't want it. Just go to Interface, Display, and then uncheck the in-game navigation. Next, you're going to notice pretty quickly that the overhead quest icons look a little bit different in Shadowlands. Instead of just the naked question mark and exclamation point, no, they have a little card. This should make it more visible, especially on cluttered or bright areas. I don't think this is really an issue right now for experienced players. I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, well, why? I could find quests just fine before. But I do think that this is going to make things more clear and available to find for new players that don't have their eyes trained to pick out yellow squigglies yet. Another new detail that you might notice about your quest is that campaign quests have a differently shaped marker from side quests. You'll see this differently shaped marker on the main map as well as on your quest tracker on the side, and you'll also see them sorted into separate categories. This makes it even clearer to figure out which quests you need to do to progress through the zone, and which ones are maybe more okay to skip if you're just not in the mood for them. Another big sort of add-on replacing feature that they're adding in Shadowlands are waypoints that you can set on your map and then share in chat. So if you open up your main map, not your mini-map, your main map, you can use this feature up on the top right or just control-click anywhere to set a waypoint. If you want to track that yourself and then get that little 3D tracker for it, you can click on it to turn it yellow and that will make it your currently tracked thing. That'll also give you the classic arrow pointing to it on your mini-map. If you would like to share your waypoint with others, you can shift-click on it while your chat is open to link it in chat. So that requires a windowed main map because you need to have your main map open to see your waypoints and you need to have chat open to link it. So don't get too confused with your whole map open. Maybe that's just me. Nobody else could possibly be silly enough to do that. But yeah, windowed main map and then open your chat in whichever chat pane you want to link it in. So that could be general if you're trying to link like a rare location. That could be your party chat or even /say. That should be really useful for quickly sharing locations for things like rare spawns without requiring anyone to have coordinate add-ons. I'm also looking forward to a world where the general chat in a zone like Mechagon with lots of rares is not just a giant wall of coordinate numbers. The next feature that I want to talk about is this shiny new character creation screen. This has far more room for additional allied races, for example, so we're no longer wondering what are the last four going to be. You can really fit all kinds of options on this screen. Also, once you get into customization, there is plenty of room for them to add additional customization options, so they're no longer kind of limited by the interface. The character creation screen is of course still not complete. There are missing races on here. I highly doubt that they're just deleting Worgen and Shadowlands, so don't worry about it too much. And I still would really like to see class or race filtering based on the first one that you choose. That's not how it works quite yet, but I can still cross my fingers. Once you get into the actual character customization, you'll notice they have a really aggressive bokeh effect on the characters that you are currently customizing to really draw your focus onto the character that you're currently looking at. The interface still looks a bit empty to me, but I'm fine with that because that's lots of room for them to add more options. And something that I really like about this actually, and maybe you could always do this, I will double check that fact, but you can zoom in and out as much as you like with either the controls at the top left or the mouse wheel while customizing any aspect of your character. It doesn't matter if you're looking at face options or tattoos. You can view all of them at any level from a tight zoom to a full body shot at your leisure. It will auto zoom you in for things like face options, but you can pull back out if you like. Next, over on the character select screen, there is a brand new Unread Mail indicator. You'll get this little mail icon next to any character that has unread mail currently in their mailbox, and you can mouse over that icon to see who it's from. If you have lots of unread mail from many different people, it will show you a list of all of the people that you are currently ignoring. How dare you? This is really nice for when you have a zillion alts that have names that are only like one letter off and your guildies can't be bothered to figure out which one is which, because honestly, who can? So they just send whatever it is to one of them, item, and this should let you find that thing and collect it before it, hits that 30-day timeout and just bounces right back. The next cool systems change in Shadowlands is first-party gamepad support. So this has been data mined and confirmed by statements from Blizzard, but is not yet in the game yet, so I can't show you right now. However, controllers such as like the Xbox controller are going to be supported in Shadowlands in an official first-party way. Up until this point, people that wanted to play on gamepads like that have needed to use various add-ons. It is important to distinguish, for the sake of this discussion, the difference between this type of gamepad, which is innately supported and works just fine, and this type of gamepad which people really need the add-ons for. We're talking about the console-style controller. So the first obvious thought that bubbles to the surface is, does this mean that Blizzard is going to put WoW out on consoles? We got Diablo on Switch, anything can happen. And my personal take on that is yes, anything can happen, but I don't immediately think that when I see this change. I do not think that console WoW is coming, at least not anytime soon. I think that this change is about making life better for people that already use controllers. For example, for people with limited range of motion or chronic pain conditions, there's lots of people that can really only play WoW on different styles of controllers. So this makes a lot of sense to help make the game more accessible for everybody. I do not see many people who are already happy with keyboards switching to gamepads, but you never know. Lots of people play WoW on a TV, so maybe I think it actually might be kind of fun, especially if I could have like a wireless controller and then the game on a TV and then just sitting back on the couch and not raiding, I don't really see that happening, but if I could just like fly around and pick herbs from my couch, I'm on board with that. I'm on board with that future. Another new thing that I think is kind of cool are these new spell density options. So this is in your graphic settings in Shadowlands, and this will let you turn down how many spells you see from everybody else, or you can set it to dynamic. So if you are getting tired of the visual clutter of your entire world boss group just lobbing chaos bolts and frost bolts and demon bolts and just bolts forever, you can choose how many of those bolts that you want to see, or with dynamic spell density, you can allow the game to reduce that as it needs to in order to try to preserve a target frame rate. So kind of muting other people's spells as needed so that you don't experience frame drops. In order to set your target frame rate, you're going to want to tab over to the advanced settings. It is on an 8 to 200 scale, which I think is pretty generous. You can also set your maximum frame rate in here, which I don't believe is new, but is kind of handy. Those are really helpful for when you want to preserve some computer processing juice for something else. And the last thing that I want to mention real quick, and this is another data mined one that's not in the alpha yet, and may not make it, but there are early hints of potential ray tracing support for Shadowlands, particularly for shadows. This was only, as I said, only data mined in strings, not working on the alpha, so it may or may not happen in Shadowlands, but this at least tells us that there are efforts being made to support ray tracing. That will allow for more complex and realistic light and shadow effects, but it's something that is best supported by newer GPUs. If you're like me and you just have a disgustingly overkill graphics card and all you play is World of Warcraft, this is kind of a glint of hope for the future that maybe one day we might actually not need them, but be able to get some use out of the top end of it. And that's all I got for you for now. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of these new features and have a wonderful, wonderful day.